So this is a video from my free method book, and there's a link for that underneath the video, so you can check that out. But this is the last two classical guitar pieces in the book, Siciliano by Carcassi and Farewell, the final piece. So let me play you the pieces one after the other first, and then we'll have a little lesson on each one of them individually. And then Farewell. So in Siciliano, this is an authentic piece from the classical era by Matteo Carcassi, who was a guitarist and a composer of the classical era. And this piece, like any piece that has a melody, you should practice the melody on its own. Go through the whole piece, practicing the melody on its own to make sure that you can play a nice, beautifully phrased and legato melody. And then when you throw the bass notes in, just make sure it's just as legato. And make sure that the thumb doesn't disrupt the nice melody that you practiced and prepared. Besides that, it should be pretty straightforward compared to the other pieces in the book, so just make sure you've mastered all the previous ones. This one does introduce a tie, and just remember with a tie, so on bar 3 and 4, you strike the first note, the first D, but not the second one. You just make sure that it rings for the full value of both notes, so it literally ties the sound to the rhythmic value of the next one. So the bass note rings for 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, without striking the second one. Besides that, just be careful of your fingering. You could practice the piece counting out loud. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You could say the fingering out loud. I am, I am, I am, I am, I am, I am, I. Just to make sure that you're alternating your fingers. Besides that, I think you'll enjoy the piece and just make sure that beautiful melody comes through nice and legato. Farewell is another kind of arpeggio piece, but this time our arpeggio piece has a melody in the top voice. So this is the final classical guitar piece in the book, and it's all in a rhythm called triplets. That's 3 notes for each beat. You'll learn more about this in the next book, but for now, you don't have to worry about it too much because the entire piece is in one rhythm, so you just play one rhythm the entire time. But if I was counting, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just the way I would practice this one is in 2 different ways. The first way I would practice is play the first note of each triplet group, which is the melody. E, F, G, F, E, E. That's the melody. Da, 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 da. So So you want to make sure you practice the whole piece by playing the first note of each group as a beautiful melody. So just prepare that nice melody and make sure your ear is listening for it. Then you might want to practice just the arpeggio technique. So just on open strings. Making sure you're comfortable with the technique and that the A finger is coming out nice and loud and clear. Because that A finger is going to be the melody the whole time. Once you've prepared the melody and the technique of arpeggios, you put them together and you get the piece. So you bring out that A finger and you can also let the music swell, just like you would with any nice, beautiful melody. Swell and then decay. So you might be a little bit intimidated by the piece at first, but practice it as a melody, very simple. Practice the technique. And once you've done that, I think that the piece will come together very nicely. Just remember that in like bar 3, for example, when you have the A minor chord, you keep these fingers down. You're not going like, but keep those fingers down and let everything sustain. So that's the final piece in the book. The next section, of course, is the chord section. So like just practice strumming and whatnot with chords. But that was the final piece there. And if you've practiced all the previous pieces, I think you won't be having any trouble with them. But I hope that you enjoyed and had enjoyed the book and had fun with those pieces.